Hello, my name is Romans and I work for company Agile Toolkit, where we work on improving development patterns and looking for new ways to solve some of the existing problems in a PHP universe. And today I'd like to talk about the love and hate relationship between people who prefer query building and the people who prefer object relational mappers. Why each of these groups sticking to their ideals? And the people who use query builders, they typically want to be in control of interaction between the application and the database, but they also want to use all the features of the SQL. I say, SQL is a great language. We want to have ability to use all of its features. And it's also realization that we don't only want to see our database in a sliced record view, but we also want to build reports, subqueries, and other things. On the other hand, we have people who prefer object relational mappers, and the reason why they do it, because sometimes you just have a database which is too big to reliably and efficiently cover it with individual queries. And also you need to use enterprise features such as soft delete and audit on the tables, which needs to be consistent throughout all of the database. And finally, it's important to be inside this domain model, which kind of abstracts all the SQL details away, and you're just dealing with native types, native records inside the PHP language. So to step back and give you a bit of the history, why there is incompatibility there. First, how does ORM work? So if you don't know ORM, they rely on these simple entities, simple classes, which we call entities. They define the properties of an entity, and then there is some engine inside, which you call mapper, that can convert from this basic entity into some sort of a query, which supposedly goes to a database and retrieves the data or stores the data and performs some other operation. The problem with this is that it doesn't cover all the use cases, and sometimes you either have to be really inefficient with this in order to make it work, or look for alternative solution. And there is alternative solution, not to use the mapper. So bypass entities and mappers altogether and execute query directly. And today, many ORMs actually built on top of Query Builder and expose Query Builder to you. You say, no, if you can't do it, then do the raw query or build a query. At which point, you lose the benefits of having entities in the first place and having the mapper, but also you drop out from your domain model, and now you are in a schema model. And finally, it pretty much restricts you to using SQL databases. So relational database is the only way to go. And as a result, many users have said, why should we bother with entities anyway? If we can't solve all the problem with that pattern, why have it in the first place? Why not just build all of our queries directly? So there is a lot of love and hate in this topic. Every time someone asks what's the best way, people start proposing that this is better for me, this is better for me, and people end up saying just choose. And I think it's not a really good option when I have to choose. Ultimately, let's see why these two concepts are so incompatible. To put it in terms of a standard love compatibility chart, these entities simply don't have enough common things to talk about. Because ORMs, they talk about fields, entities, and relationships, while query builders, they talk about pieces of queries building aliases, parameters, and doing subqueries, and also wrapping it into some sort of expression. So they don't really think about, what if we made it more common. So if you look at the way how these things work, and in some cases I said that object mappers are built using the query builders, but it's really only to map the entity into the query and execute that query for the basic CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, and delete. And this is where we saw business opportunity, and we said, why not create a new data access framework that can combine the benefits of both ORM and queries? This is what we set out to do, and we built a framework called Agile Data, and it is designed to bring those two concepts together and make it more compatible. If you are interested how we've done that and how it can be used, I invite you to look at my second video in this playlist. Thank you.